Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Lawn, and thought today we'd talk about frost. So 10 days ago I got hit with a pretty big frost for this part of the world. So our temperatures got down to -2.5, and look, generally speaking we will get 2 or 3 of those a year, but that's it. Normally our frosty temperatures go down to 0 or marginally just below 0, but once we get below -2, that really cooks things around here, and things like my bougainvilleas, for example, are burnt now, so they won't really respond till springtime, and things like frangipani. So they've been a little bit cooked, but they will be fine come spring. Interestingly enough though, it's a great time now to have a look at different couches and see how different varieties handle the frost differently. And we'll also check in on the zoysia. So let's just hook straight in and get on with the episode. So one of the things that some people get confused with at times is these really unusual patterns, and this is actually frost damage. It's not actually a disease at all. Some people think that their lawn's got disease, but it is more obvious, or it is more likely to occur in a longer cut grass. So this is Santarana couch. This is probably 2.5 inches long. This area here just gets cut with a ride-on lawnmower. So this is pretty common, this sort of stuff, in longer cut turf. You won't really see a great deal of this on something cut a lot shorter. So, I mean, just behind me here, you've got the green, you've got the surround, there's none of this sort of here. So this is not a disease, this is just simply frost damage, and it kind of looks a little bit cool in a weird sort of a way. But yeah, that's what causes this stuff, is just the way the frost settles on the ground. Just behind me here, all this disgusting long grass. It is long for a reason. I'm letting that grow because I've got some more I guess tester reviews coming up, so I'm just leaving that grow for a particular reason, and all will be revealed very soon. One of the things that's always sort of intrigued me a little bit is the fact that when the grass is cut really short like this green, now this green is currently set at 4mm, so I've lifted it up from the 3 or whatever it was at to 4 just to give it a bit of a break. But as soon as we get into the surround, so this is our rotary cut surround here, and I think that's set on about, it's number 2 on the Honda, so what's that? Just a bit shy of 2 centimeters or 20 mils. It goes right off, and as you get further up into the backyard, back into that longer cut turf, which is actually more neglected, it dies off again. So it's interesting, a shorter cut grass does seem to resist the color loss that you get in the longer cut turf. This here is a really good example of not all couches are created equal. So on my right hand side here, this is our Tiff Dwarf. On the left here, we've got our Santarana couch. This is cut at surround height, and just over here, you've got that green height. So you can see a huge difference in color. Now, obviously, something like Tiff Dwarf was bred primarily to be a sports turf. So really tiny leaf, really tiny stem, all designed to be a great playing surface, where, for example, the Santarana was, I guess, bred, marketed and designed for the home user predominantly. So they want things like color. So you can see here, not all couches are equal. Santarana does hold some pretty good colour in winter, but you've got to keep in mind, we've got here a microclimate with the house. So that's keeping a nice stable temperature. And as we get away from a house, things get, I guess, things get cooler, actually, I should say. Things get cooler, and that's when we start to get more colour loss. But around the edges of houses and concrete paths and stuff like that, I find here at home, colour loss is not as noticeable as up in the backyard. But yeah. Okay, so I don't know how well this comes through on camera, but this here is our Tiff Eagle. This here at the bottom of the screen is our Tiff Dwarf. Now, just before we go any further, some people get a little bit confused with the Tiff Dwarf and the Tiff Eagle and the Tiff Tough. They think they're sort of all the same grass. Now, they're actually not. They're all very different in their own rights. Obviously, Tiff Tough is their new Bermuda to Australia. It's got some really great properties, apparently. I've got a little bit at the back, but it's got really great properties. Very quick to recover, very quick to come out of dormancy. It also has the WaterWise award here in Australia, so it's, I think, the only grass to actually get that award. These here are different. So back in the day, I think it was about the 1950s, I'll have to check that in my TAFE notes, this was bred, discovered, developed, okay, the Tiff Dwarf. Then came along Tiff Eagle. So Tiff Eagle is an improved variety of Tiff Dwarf. Now, the Tiff part of the name comes from the university. Tifton University, in Tifton, Georgia. So everything with TIFF in front of it, so TIFF Eagle, TIFF Fine, TIFF Dwarf, TIFF Green, TIFF Tough, have all come from the same university, Tifton, Georgia, over there in the States. So they're not all the same grasses. They are cooch, but they're all very different, or they're all Bermuda cooch, depending on where you're from. So excuse a couple of broadleaf weeds in it here, but what we find with this one, with our TIFF Eagle, we've got a greener colour, a slightly tighter leaf again. So it's been an improved variety of the good old TIFF Dwarf. So it's going quite well. We're probably up to about 90% coverage now from our little plugs that we did right at the end of summer. Now, one thing that's really interesting is how the zoysia has responded so far, and it's really surprised me. So let's go and have a look at the colour of it, because I thought it would have lost colour by now, but it hasn't. So that's a really good story. This stuff here has really probably been a dark horse. As I've said 1,000 times before, I have very little or no zoysia experience, and every bit of advice I received from people was, it won't grow, it'll fail, it'll be a disaster, etc. Now, already, I guess, not so much proved those people right, but I guess I've proved that it can be done. Now, this grass has pushed through sand, it has grown, it is still green, it's still holding equal or maybe marginally better colour than the Santarana cooch, and it has started in places to run. Now, all that's happened throughout a off season, and we've just had that big frost 10 days ago. Hasn't really done anything to its colour. So really, I think this stuff's pretty cool. So it's a lot slower, obviously, than the cooch, but wow. I have got a little bit of black algae through here, which I'm keeping a bit of an eye on, but at this stage, it's only because we've been getting constant damp weather. Really, we've had another 5 mils overnight. We had 5 mils a day before. It's really unseasonable for us here to get that sort of weather at this time of year. And it's also the reason we've had so many more frosts than usual, because we get this damp conditions, then we get clear nights and breathless days and no clouds in the sky, and it gets really cold in the morning, and then it comes good again. But I'm really excited to see this stuff fill in come springtime. I have at this stage, touch wood, and I keep it pretty close on it, I have at this stage successfully managed to keep out any bits of invading cooch that have popped up through that didn't kill. My little paintbrush technique worked a treat. Obviously it's something to keep an eye on, and the easy thing about it is the cooch grows a lot quicker than this, so you can see it pop up. It sticks out like nothing else. So if you walk past, you see a bit, you paint it with a bit of Roundup, job's done. So at this stage, I have got this growing, apart from a couple of broadleaf weeds, a couple here, it's going really well. Righto. Colour at the front here is still really good, and that's obviously again for a number of reasons. This area here faces west, so if you're on the northern hemisphere, that's the equivalent of your south side, so it's the warm hot side. So we've got the house behind me here radiating heat onto the lawn. As you can see, once we get down the back here towards the concrete path and towards the street, we start to see a colour change, and it's about half to a third, 2/3 the way down the lawn. That's as the temperature from this house here starts to drop off and it becomes more exposed. That's where we start to lose our colour. But overall, this front lawn is hanging on really nicely. Hopefully we won't get too many more of those really sort of, I guess, cold sort of mornings, but look, it is winter, but we're now in July, August. So yeah, look, probably another month or so and things will start to stabilise out, because really it won't be too long and we'll be talking about renovations in spring, especially you guys in Brisbane and Queensland, always the first to roll. But yeah, that's what's happening here in the front, looking pretty good. So at the moment I'm just keeping on with my soil amendments and stuff like that, my seaweed secrets, my fulvic acids, which is the Quantum H and all that sort of stuff. So they're my little tips for this time of year. Keep feeding your soil, give your plant some support by applying things like the seaweed secrets, which obviously is more of a tonic, so it's a bit like a vitamin, I guess. It's not a fertilizer as such. Things like that just help the grass fight off these sort of extreme conditions, and it'll perform for you the best it can, rather than actually give you cracking green color and stuff like that. I mean, it's a tonic. It's not going to stop it going off color, but it's going to help it fight off all this sort of nasty weather. We'll finish off on the buffalo. It also has lost a lot of colour with that frost, but up until then it was actually hanging on pretty well. It's on my shady side, my southern side, so it's sort of, you know, it doesn't get any sun or any warmth. So it's not looking wonderful, but look, it is what it is. Right, so as you can see, lost a lot of colour. It's even a bit black and mushy here. I'm going to keep a bit of an eye on this. Just want to be sure that it's nothing sinister. I suspect at this stage it is just frost damage, but as I said, I'll keep a close eye on it and see what happens. In seasons gone by, this lawn in winter has been prone to winter fusarium. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the regular suspect spots that I get, and one's just over there and sort of behind me there a little bit. So just keep a little close eye on that, see what happens. But I'm going to assume at this stage that a lot of this black stuff here is just part of the frost damage. But yeah, no, it has suffered quite badly. But hey, it is what it is. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. It's only a short one this week, just to show you what's been happening around the place with the frost. Those of you who've been following me on Instagram and Facebook, you would have seen the other day I started to do the dry rock wall for the fish pond garden here. Laid down the foundations for the decomposed granite pathways and things like that. It's coming on really, really well. I was hoping to sort of get a lot of this finished, but now, once again, the rain spoiled my fun, because working in this black heavy self-mulching soil with even a few millimetres of rain is just a impossible task. So that set me back another week for that. But anyway, guys, look, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe to us. Helps me grow, helps me keep on keeping on. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you next time on the Aussie Lawn. If you're stuck around to the end, a little bit of bonus footage. So behind the scenes, I've still been doing a little bit here of our front lawn. I am still waiting for my extra 40 tonne of sand to arrive. I've bought it, I've paid for it, it's at the yard. It's just we've been getting that constant rain, so I can't actually get it in here without doing a heap of damage. So I've got our sort of final levels somewhere there. We'll need some final fiddling around, but really starting to take shape nicely. So been fortunate that, as I said, the rain we've been getting hasn't been heavy enough to cause any damage. So unless we get those really heavy showers, I'm pretty safe, because it's actually settling it down beautifully. So so far, touch wood, this has been a good decision. I hope I haven't just jinxed myself by saying that, but anyway, it is what it is. Anyway guys, over and out. We'll see you next time.